Hello, my name is Amy Natt, and I am the CEO of Aging Outreach Services, and this is All Things Aging. Today, we are very excited to have with us Mr. Glenn Flinchum. Mr. Flinchum is 101 years old. So today we're going to spend some time talking with him about what it's like to live to be 101. So we'll start with an easy question. When were you born?
I was born October 3rd, 1923, here in Moore County.
Native of Moore County, North Carolina.
Yes.
That's quite an accomplishment. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Moore County and what your younger years were like?
Well, actually, I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
So my father worked in town, but he was a country boy, and we had a farm a few miles out of town, and so I was very active, did a lot of things outdoors, and I helped take care of the animals. We had always had cows and horses, and
What was your favorite animal?
well, in addition to my dog, which was, I guess, would be number one.
Yeah.
And then I remember my brother and I had a goat, and it was a real playful
Yeah.
type animal. He was getting into all kinds of mischief, so we had a lot of fun.
Did you name the goat?
Well, Millie, of course.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Did you go to high school here?
Yes, I graduated from the Carthage High School.
Okay. Which is no longer here today.
Right. Class of 1940.
That's impressive. And what happened? What did you do after high school?
After high school, I enrolled in what was then called Campbell Junior College.
Okay.
And, of course, in my second year there, World War II came along. And that had a big effect on my entire generation.
I bet. So you joined the Army, and then you were a part of...
1943, yes.
Okay.
I graduated from Campbell first and worked for a few months. Then I joined the Army.
And where did the Army take you as World War II?
Eventually, I wound up in Europe.
Okay.
I did not take part in the invasion, but I was part of the Ninth Army.
Okay.
Which was a new army they formed at that time, and we went in to Europe in I think it was August, and took over the southern part of France.
Okay.
Where there was still a lot of German troops.
Yeah.
That had to be conquered and taken prisoners.
And were you single at the time, or were you married?
Oh yes, I was single.
Okay.
And from there we went on into Holland, and after the early part of the next year, we went into northern Germany.
Okay. What year did you come back to the States?
That was in early 1946, I think.
And then what was life like when you came home? What did you do?
Well, I wanted to finish my education.
Okay.
So I enrolled in UNC Chapel Hill.
You're Tar Heel.
I'm a Tar Heel.
Okay.
Got my degree in business.
Okay.
From UNC.
And then somewhere along the way, you got married. I know you had a wife for many years.
Yes. Some months before, I had met this young lady in Raleigh.
Okay.
And I continued to see her for some time before I graduated. But then after I graduated, moved to Raleigh, we got married, and we lived there for quite a number of years in
Okay.
the Raleigh area.
So you worked in Raleigh, lived in Raleigh.
Yes.
Did you have children?
Yes, we had 3 children,
Okay.
altogether, 1 daughter and 2 sons. And I've started to work for the state health department
Okay.
as head of data processing vital records. So at a later time, but I can't remember the dates, but the Public Health Service in Washington moved some of their data processing operations to the Research Triangle, and I went to work for them.
Okay. So most of your career you spent in that area.
Yes, except for a few years when I was transferred up to Washington area.
Okay.
But I came back to North Carolina as soon as I could.
That was home.
That was home, yes.
So looking back on your kind of early and adult years, what would you say were significant events in the world that you remember? We talked World War II. What were other significant events that you remember during that time?
Well, of course, we went through that period of what we call the Cold War,
Okay.
when things were very uncertain. And during that time, when I came home, I joined an Army Reserve unit, and I was commissioned. So I stayed with the Army put in 20 years.
Oh, wow. Through the reserves. Okay.
Yes, and retired as a major.
Okay. That's an accomplishment in itself.
So I really had a double career
Yeah.
there.
What about like the Great Depression? How old were you during those years? Do you remember that having a significant impact on you?
Yes, I certainly do. It was a time when practically everybody was affected by it. Nobody had much money. But I think I was fortunate enough, since we lived on a farm, we always had plenty of food.
Right. A little more self-sufficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my mother was a very frugal person. She could make $1 go a long ways. And so we got by
Okay.
the Depression years, but better than a lot of other people.
Have you found that you're very frugal as you grew up too from seeing that example, or?
Yeah, I never, we didn't have, when I was growing up, anything like an allowance. But we were expected to earn our own spending money, so we did that any way we could.
Right.
Sometimes we would sell vegetables from the roadside, or sell flower seeds to the neighbors, and
whatever you could
with a little change, we would do it.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely seen a lot of change in the world. What would you say are significant inventions that you saw kind of along the way that changed the world?
Oh my, well, of course, I even came along before television.
Right.
We had no television.
Did you have radio?
We did have radio.
Okay.
And I listened to the radio a great deal, especially they get cop shows.
Okay. That was your favorite.
My favorites. And I wanted to be a lawman when I grew up.
Okay.
And catch the bad guys.
Oh, I guess in the reserves, maybe a little bit went that direction. The Army.
Yeah.
What about telephone?
Actually, we did not have a telephone originally when I grew up. I don't remember when we actually got a telephone, but the radio was all we had really in my growing up years.
Do you use a cell phone now? Did they ever convert you over? Okay.
Yes, I do.
How about the technology of computers? When do you remember in life, first getting a computer, maybe with your career or?
Well, since I was in the data processing business, and since I had a son that went to work for IBM, I was introduced to computers.
Okay. So you sort of kept up with technology as it came along.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What would you say was the best decade in the last 100 years?
Oh my. Every decade has its, good things and bad ones. It's really hard to say which would be the best one.
Yeah.
But oh,
Can you think of in your adult years, like what stood out to you as you went through the 60s, the 70s? Is there a time that stood out, I guess, once the war had ended and life sort of started getting back to normal as funner, happier times?
yeah, I guess I'd say watching my grandchildren grow up has been a very interesting and a good time in my life. And
So from 3 children, how many grandchildren did you have?
there's 6 grandchildren
Okay.
and 12 great
Grandchildren.
So I'm still enjoying seeing them grow up and have, go into careers of their own and so forth. It's very.
So
I
how
think I'm
old
very
were you when
blessed
you
for that.
retired from Raleigh? You probably had several years in retirement.
I think I haven't counted lately, but I believe that I have now been retired longer than I worked.
Okay. I think we should all want to accomplish that.
Yes. Yes.
So the grandparent years have been the
It's
enjoyable,
been very enjoyable.
That's memories
right.
that you can look back
Yeah.
on. What would you say? How do you spend your days now? You spend time with family. What else do you like to do?
Well, I make a point to take a walk every day.
Okay.
Several years ago, I had knee surgery on both knees. I guess that was one of the best things I ever did because I can walk
Yeah, you're very mobile.
good distances.
Yeah.
And
And you still live independently at
I still
101.
live independently, so that means having a house to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, we have a clubhouse at where I live, and we have some activities there, social activities.
So would you say you're still fairly active?
Yes, I still try to be active, and I have those grandchildren who live not too far away come pretty often
To keep
to
you
see me.
young.
Yeah, and we go out to eat or go do various things.
If I asked you what one valuable lesson that you sort of learned along the way, is there something that stands out to you?
Oh my.
Asking all the hard questions.
Yes. I can't think of any one thing, but I think it's if you keep in touch with people and don't withdraw into yourself, and try to make friends. And if you see any way to help somebody, go ahead and help them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helps not only that person, but it helps you, your own attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
When people ask you about how'd you live to be 101, you're healthy, you're vibrant, are there secrets to longevity?
Well, now, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret,
I
would it?
know, but think how many people you could have a positive impact on.
Yeah, I have been asked this question, and I have pondered this question quite a bit. And, the real truth is I don't have a clue.
Okay.
As
That's
to why the
honest.
good Lord has allowed me to stay on this planet this many years, but I will say that there are certain things that maybe help to keep that in your longevity, such as taking care of your body and exercising, and I think maintaining social contact.
Yeah, I think that's
with other
important too.
people.
It keeps your cognitive skills sharp.
Yes, and one other thing I remember from an old Army saying, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get all excited over things that don't matter all that much. Just save your words for the big things.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Would you say that faith has played a role in your journey?
Faith, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And I still maintain contact with my church.
Good.
And even though I'm not able to attend on a regular basis, but I still keep in contact with the various members.
Good. What advice would you give a young person today, like your grandchildren or great-grandchildren?
Well, I just say, try to do something worthwhile with your life, and don't just waste it away.
And you feel like you've lived a life that you're proud of?
Well, I feel like I've accomplished a few things.
I think you
yes.
have.
Just just take it a day at a time, and
You've seen a lot in 101 years.
Yes, I have.
Probably a lot of people come and go, a lot of changes, even in this small county. I'm sure it looks very different than it did.
That's true. Yes.
101 years ago. It's a very big accomplishment you should be proud of. So my last question for you, how did you celebrate turning 101?
My family came from all the four corners of the earth.
Okay.
And we all got together in the clubhouse,
Okay.
and we had some good food and some.
Was there a cake with 101 candles?
There was a cake for no, not 101 candles.
Okay.
No, I couldn't blow out that many, but there was a cake, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. And you were surrounded by all the people in your life, I'm sure, that are
Yes.
very important to you.
Yes,
So
lots of other people came,
yeah.
and I appreciated all those who came.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you talking with us today. I appreciate you taking the time, and congratulations on showing us what 101 should look like. We should all hope to be so lucky.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.